Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the one-armed, cape-wearing, sword-swinging mentor in the room. If you have been keeping up with Boruto, and look, I know some of you only watch it to see how much more trauma Sasuke can take. You have probably had his weird feeling of deja vu. You are looking at Sasuke, and suddenly you are not seeing the Uchiha Prodigy anymore. You are seeing a red haired man from a completely different ocean who really likes shake and making ground entrance. Is Sasuke Uchiha becoming a carbon copy of red hair Shanks? Now, before the Naruto pursuits start sharpening their kunai and the One Piece stans start explaining haki for the 5000th time, let's just look at the facts. Because honestly, the math is starting to look a little too balanced for it to be a coincidence. Let's start with the visual starter pack. You want to be a legendary mentor in shonen? Apparently, there is a dress code. Step 1. Lose an arm. Step 2. Get a cool scar over your eye. Step 3. Wear a long, flowing dark cape that somehow never gets caught in a door. Step 4. Carry a katana even though you have literal god powers. I can say so-called, whatever. Sasuke and Shanks look like they buy their clothes from the same mysterious, badass outlet mall. If you squint your eyes during a Boruto episode, you could honestly convince yourself that Shanks just got lost on the way to Laugh Tale and ended up in the Hidden Leaf. And given how bad Zoro's sense of direction is, maybe it runs in the crew. But it's deeper than just the aesthetic, it's the function. In One Piece, Shanks is the benchmark. He's the guy who gave the protagonist the hat, the dream, and the motivation. He's the peak that Luffy is climbing towards. In Boruto, Sasuke has pivoted into that exact role. He is not the main character anymore. He's the cool sensei. He's the guy who steps out of a portal, says 3 words, saves the day, and then leaves because he's too busy doing whatever. It is secret ninjas do, probably taxes. It's a lot of paperwork being a shadow Kage, but here is the logic bit. Did Kishimoto copy Oda, or are they both just pulling from the same ancient well of the wandering swordsman trope? In Japanese mythology and samurai cinema, think old school Kurosawa films. The one-arm master is a staple. It's a visual shorthand for I am so dangerous. I only need 50% of my limbs to end you. It represents sacrifice. It represents a history of battles that the viewers didn't see but can definitely feel. Think about the passing of the torch. Shanks gives Luffy the straw hat. Sasuke gives Boruto his old headband. It's the same narrative weight. It's an object that carries the legacy of the previous generation. But there is a fundamental difference in their vibe that I think people miss. Shanks is a party animal. The guy is almost always seen with a drink in his hand, laughing until someone messes with his friends. Then he turns into a nightmare. Sasuke hasn't laughed since the 2000th century. The guy is walking rain cloud. He's the emo dead version of the trope. So if Sasuke is a copy, he's like the goth version of Shanks. One is a summer vibe, the other is a mid-winter depression. And let's talk about the power scaling. This is where it gets spicy. Shanks has divine departure or Kamusari. Sasuke has, well, a lot of things. But mostly he just runs out of chakra these days. No, but seriously, Sasuke shifts toward being a swordsman first and a jutsu user second feels very Shanksian. In Shippuden, Sasuke was a walking fireworks display. Susanoo, Amaterasu, Kirin, it was a lot. In Boruto, He's much more calculated. He relies on his blade. He relies on his presence. It's that Haki energy. When Sasuke walks into a room now, the tension changes. You don't need to see his Sharingan to know you are in trouble. That's the exact same way Oda writes Shanks. We have seen Shanks fight for maybe 4 minutes total in 20 years. And yet, he's the most feared man on the sea. That's a specific kind of writings. It's power by reputation. Now some people will tell you that Kishimoto and Oda are best friends, which they are, and that they are just paying homage to each other. It is like a high-level inside joke between two of the greatest mangaka to ever do it. Hey, I will take your guy's arm if you take my guy's eye. But maybe it's a symptom of how we as an audience view coolness. We don't want our mentors to be perfect. We want them to be broken. A Sasuke with 2 arms and no scars is just a guy who is good at his job. A Sasuke who is missing limb and carrying the guilt of a literal revolution. That's a character we want to follow. But here's the real question. Does it matter if it's a copy? In the world of storytelling, nothing is truly original. Everything is a remix. Shanks himself is a remix of characters that came before him. If Sasuke is becoming the Shanks of the Narutoverse, maybe that's just the natural evolution of his character arc. He went from a boy who wanted to destroy everything to a man who is the sole guardian of everything, even if he has to do it from the shadows with one arm tied behind his back. Literally. Is it a rip-off? I don't know. Rip-off feels like a cheap word for something that feels this earned. If you have watched Sasuke for 700 episodes, seeing him in his role feels less like a copy and more like a promotion. He's finally reached that level of legendary status where he doesn't need to be at the center of the frame to be the most important person in the scene. Though, I will say if Sasuke starts showing up on a boat with a crew of rowdy pirates and starts talking about the new era, then we might need to have a serious talk with the editors at Shonen Jump. At the end of the day, whether you think it's a blunted copy or just a beautiful coincidence, you can't deny it works. Both characters fulfill their specific hunger we have for a mentors who's been through it. They represent the cost of the journey. So, is Sasuke the Shanks of Boruto? Maybe he's just the version of Sasuke that finally understand what it means to protect a dream instead of being consumed by one. Or maybe Oda and Kishimoto just really like the aesthetic of a guy in a cave. Honestly, it could be both. It's probably both. But I want to know what you think. Do you see the Shanks influence every time Sasuke loses a bit more of his Uchiha flash and leans into the legendary swordsman vibe? Or am I just overthinking a word of choice? Because in the world of shonen, a cape is never just a cape. So that's all today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. And you can share with your friends. And I will see you in the next one. And ta-ta!